Welcome to CinePro, where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. The movie Sleepless Beauty opens on a girl named Mila, standing at a gas station. After a few minutes, Mila leaves and goes to a fish shop, where she buys a new ornamental fish to replace her dead one. At that moment, her father calls her to remind her she's invited over today, and Mila confirms she'll arrive on time. Mila returns home, and on her way to her apartment she meets her neighbor, who seems to have a crush on her, but Mila isn't interested and greets him quickly. As she goes up, her shawl falls, and the neighbor picks it up and decides to keep it. Meanwhile, Mila gets to her apartment, puts her new fish in the aquarium, and suddenly, a mysterious person appears behind her and chokes her until she faints. After a while, Mila wakes up to find herself in a strange, abandoned place, which terrifies her. She runs, looking for any way out, but unfortunately, all doors and windows are tightly locked. No matter how much Mila tries to open them or screams for help, nobody hears her. At the same time, it becomes clear there are cameras in the room with Mila, recording everything happening to her live and broadcasting it on deep websites. People are watching and enjoying what's happening, wanting Mila's torture session to start faster. At that moment, Mila hears a voice speaking to her through loudspeakers, telling her there are rules she must follow while she's in this place. The most important being that sleep is strictly forbidden. Even if she tries to sleep, any attempt will be prevented. The voice changes to that of a small child calling Mila, saying he's her son whom she aborted. He blames her for getting rid of him and not wanting him to come into the world. Mila breaks down, not understanding what's happening or who could know about her pregnancy, and wants revenge. She hears the child's voice again, ordering her to open the basket in front of her and search it. When Mila opens it, she screams because she sees entrails and a large amount of blood inside. Despite this, she tries to do as told and searches the basket until she finds a doll, which she takes out and throws away. At that moment, a masked person enters Mila's room. Mila begs him to let her out, but he ignores her, drags her to a chair and electrocutes her until she passes out. He then ties her to the chair and puts electronic glasses on her that shows scary scenes and sounds, preventing any chance of sleep. Mila hears the loudspeaker again, this time telling her that there are 5 patients in a hospital, each needing an organ donation, or they will die. At the same time, her father is healthy, and if she kills him and donates his organs, she'll have killed one person to save 5 lives. They ask her for her choice. At first, Mila refuses, saying she doesn't want to kill anyone. Suddenly, the masked man sprays her with hot water, forcing her to answer, causing Mila to scream in pain. She's forced to say she would choose not to kill her father. After she answers, today's broadcast ends. Meanwhile, Mila's family is seen sitting with a police officer, describing their daughter and explaining she's been missing for 2 days. They don't know how to reach her and say she's a teacher at a nearby school. After checking her apartment and asking at the school, they couldn't find any new information. The officer promises to start searching as soon as possible. Another day passes for Mila, reaching the 3rd day, and she still hasn't slept for a moment. This time, the masked man enters the room with another chair, then brings in a girl with her face covered by a mask, on top of which is a photo of a strange-looking girl. The same person speaks through the loudspeaker, saying this time there's a competition between the two, and the winner will survive, while the loser's fate is death. Mila refuses to participate or speak, especially since the girl in front of her has her mouth tied and can't speak. Mila refuses to answer the first 2 questions in the competition, but when the 3rd and final question comes, fear of death makes her answer. As soon as she does, the masked man pulls out a gun and shoots the girl in front of her. Mila screams in collapse as she sees the girl die before her eyes. The masked man drags her out of the room, cleans up the place where the girl was killed, and today's broadcast ends. He puts the electronic glasses back on Mila to prevent her from sleeping. On the 4th day, Mila is untied and brought back to the room with a box of food locked with a padlock. Mila's task is to find the key within a minute. She starts trying all the keys until she finds the right one, opens the box, and eats as fast as she can from hunger and fear that time will run out. Within a minute, Mila finishes all the food, but is shocked to learn she failed the task because she was supposed to find the key to the room, not the food box. If she had found the room key, she would have had a chance to escape, but her hunger made her focus on the food box key. Mila then attacks the masked man, steals his keys, and manages to open the door, but at the last moment he catches her, hits her, and puts her back in the chair again. On the same day, the Pocus man goes to Mila's apartment, and opens it but doesn't find anything strange in it, so he installs a camera to monitor anything strange that might happen in the house. After that, he goes to ask her neighbors about her, who all testify to her morals and respect. When he asked her neighbor who has a crush on her is asked about her, he lies and says he hasn't seen her for a week, even though he saw her on the day of the incident 4 days ago. On the 5th day, Mila's task is harder than any previous day. She's locked in a coffin with a group of vicious rats. Her task is either to kill the rats or be killed by them. Mila is terrified and screams at the top of her lungs, but after a while the sounds stop completely. When the masked man opens the coffin, he finds all the rats dead. He pulls Mila out after she's lost all her strength from what happened. At the same time, we see a former ambassador with his wife and learn that his wife wants to divorce him after their last meeting, which ended in an attack on them. Since then, she hasn't felt safe with him. The ambassador's lawyer and his wife's lawyer finalize all the divorce papers, including documents transferring half the ambassador's wealth to his wife. After both parties sign the papers, it's clear that the ambassador is fanatical and upset about what happened, unlike his wife, who looks at him with pride and triumph because she managed to take half his fortune. The next day, we see Mila in a difficult state due to lack of sleep and food, as well as the terrible psychological pressure she is exposed to every day. While Mila is sitting almost unconscious, she hears the sound of a phone, which gives her hope. She follows the source of the sound until she finds it inside the doll, quickly takes it out and calls the police, telling them she is kidnapped and being subjected to severe torture. Unfortunately, the phone disconnects before they can locate her. At that moment, a strange gas spreads throughout the room, and after that, Mila begins to see strange hallucinations everywhere, such as her neighbor sewing a weird dress for the doll, then her admirer neighbor who is cooking human flesh, and when she opens the pot, she sees her own body being cooked. Mila is so affected by what she sees that she goes back to sitting in her place and surrender until she regains consciousness and finds herself in an operating room, tied up with a doctor preparing her for brain surgery. The painful part is that he starts the surgery without even giving her anesthesia. At the same time, a big screen in front of her shows the same scenes she used to see in the electronic glasses. Strange and terrifying scenes, with demonic drawings that affect a person and their psychological state. After the surgery ends, they return Mila to the room where she was previously imprisoned. Days pass with Mila in the same room without new tasks and even without sleep, as she has become used to not sleeping. On the 10th day, the masked man enters and places a tied-up person in front of her. This time, as soon as Mila sees him, she screams, grabs the hammer in front of her and kills him without hesitation. She escapes quickly before anyone sees her, but she doesn't know that they let her escape on purpose because their experiment on her is finished. Mila leaves the place and finds herself in an abandoned area. Due to her health condition, she cannot continue her escape and faints halfway. At that moment, twin sisters passing by in their car see her, take her with them, and help her get home. When Mila arrives home, she can't believe she is finally free after 10 days locked in an unknown place where she experienced the strongest kinds of psychological and physical torture. At the same time, the police find a body in the forest and ask Mila's father to identify it. When he sees the body, he says it's not his daughter. At the same time, he receives a message that Mila's phone has been turned on, so he asks the police for permission and goes alone to Mila's house. Mila senses movement in the house, which terrifies her and makes her think someone is coming to kidnap her again. So she goes to the kitchen, grabs a knife, attacks the person entering the house, and stabs him until he dies, only to discover it was her father who came looking for her after receiving the message from her phone. Strangely, the gang manages to access the camera in her house, hacks it, and spreads the video of Mila killing her father everywhere. Mila is transferred to a mental hospital, and the doctor asks her mother if Mila had undergone any brain surgery. When the mother denies it, the doctor informs her that Mila had indeed undergone brain surgery, and after examinations they discovered Mila has a disorder in a part of her brain responsible for recognizing faces, which was why Mila didn't recognize her father and killed him. The doctor tells her he will start therapy sessions with Mila. He begins the sessions, asking Mila to relax and think about her own appearance and feature. At first, Mila responds, but suddenly she starts imagining the same shapes and scenes she used to see every day when she was imprisoned, which causes her to have violent seizures to the point of bleeding from her nose. Days later, we return to the ambassador's ex-wife, who is sitting alone in a fancy restaurant having lunch. One of the staff approaches her and offers her an expensive drink, saying it's a gift from a customer who asked to send it to her without revealing his identity. The ambassador's ex-wife accepts the gift and drinks the beverage. Hours later, we are surprised to find her unconscious in the same place where Mila was imprisoned. She panics and tries to escape in any way, but to no avail. She hears someone speaking to her through loudspeakers, explaining the rules of the place. the most important of which is that sleeping is forbidden. And that's the end of today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive all